The way this particular panel works is a big panel, okay? You can ask any questions you want. And,
You can try.
And between the, I don't know how many of us, we're going to have the answer for. So who would like to start?
Emilio?
Somebody has a question. Come on. All right, well, I'll start it for you. Should they consider going to grad school right from college, or should they get a job first? Who wants to take that one?
There you go.
I'll stick with Charles. I was lucky enough to be able to live at home, go to graduate school. The summer right after graduation, I went to California, laid on the beach, said, screw it, going back to school because the economy wasn't too good. Things are kind of similar. I understand the point about, yes, it's expensive, and you can get your employer to pay for it, but I hated night school. And I had the opportunity, and bless my departed father, he said, boy, while I am still alive, get this school business done. I said, yes, sir, and I got it done. So it worked for me. It won't work for everybody, but it certainly was terrific. I got it done in 2 years, and I got my job at McDonnell Douglas in 1988 when none of you were born, because they said I already had my master's degree, and they weren't going to wait until I got it, and I'd go away.
Anyone else have a comment towards that question? Katie.
I think my answer would very clearly be it depends, and what it depends on is obviously you can afford it, but more importantly, it depends on the type of job you're going for. There are roles where having that right out of school is viewed as being very beneficial, and then there are careers and industries that if you have it, you've already outpriced yourself when you get done with your schooling, and then you want to go get the job because they're going to assume that you want more money because of the MBA, and they care about the work experience. So it absolutely depends on what you're going to do, and you have to research your own industry to know whether or not it helps you in getting that job, or whether or not it prices you out of the market when you're done.
Yes, Robert.
I can add to it. Say the experience comment. Most companies value experience more than they do the degree. So if you don't have any experience and you're trying to get into a field, the other people who have been laid off from their jobs that have that 5 to 10 years of experience over you are probably going to get the job even if you have the most stellar academic experience. It's just the way of the world, so keep that in mind. If you can get the experience and get a job, get your foot in the door, that's going to outweigh the education. You can also do the education while you're at work. I mean, that's what my classes are. It's tough, but go for the job. If you want school, do it at the same time.
Okay. Karen?
I waited 2 years after undergrad because I was really sick of school, and worked, and then went back to school at night here, and it took a few years, but my employer paid for it, so I came out with an MBA with no debt, and I had all the years of experience at the same time. So.
Thank you.
Night school.
I was going to say.
Next question.
It's back and forth either way. Obviously, it's a very personal situation. Because I ended up thinking I would go back, and I never went back. So I don't have my master's, and part of me thinks that it just depends. It's going to probably make a difference in 10 years from now. It doesn't make a difference right now.
Let's do a quick poll here. How many of you guys with master's degrees? How many did it right out of school?
Okay, next question. You're not allowed to not have questions. Come on, you guys there's got to be something you'd like to know. Yes?
What would you say was the hardest thing about transitioning from undergraduate school to a work environment?
Getting up.
The other issue you'll run into, you might still have friends who are in school who want you to go out and hang out with them on a weeknight. Well, too bad. You got to stay in. You've got to wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. to get to your real job. That's the big difficult part of the transition.
Yes. I'm sorry.
No.
I would say that when you go to work, you have all these hours where you don't fit in other things. So when you're a student, you can throw in a load of laundry in between classes, and run to the grocery store. You can do different things depending on how your day is set up or when your classes are. But more than anything, it was a different kind of time management because your whole big chunk of your day is completely constrained. So you have to figure out how to get stuff done in the morning and evening and weekends.
So just thinking about that was probably the biggest transition.
Kyle?
A couple things. First off, one of the things about school is that you always know kind of when your end date is. You know when you're going to graduate. You know when the semester is going to end. Once you get out of school, it's wide open. And that's something that takes a little bit of getting used to, is you're not sure how long you're going to stay at that company. You're not sure how long whatever you're doing is actually going to last because there's not that end date. So what I would say is when you get out of school, enjoy it, because there's only that, and I'm sure everybody else up here that's married will agree, there's this weird little sweet spot after you're out of college, but you're not married. Hang out with your friends, go do your thing, because you'll reminisce about those days. I envy you guys. It's coming up.
Next question. Somebody's got a question for us. Come on. We couldn't possibly have answered all your questions
Yes, sir.
today. Dustin.
What has been the greatest significance of Delta Sigma Pi in your career?
Oh my God.
It's going to be long.
And keep it short.
I'll just say very simply, it was confidence in front of strangers and confidence in front of professional peers.
Susan?
The amount of time that we spent thinking about who our officers were going to be and the qualities we were looking for, and that whole discussion is more time than sometimes I've spent in companies figuring out important hires. So that sort of learning to trust each other and learning to distinguish who your colleagues are going to be is incredible training, because you will use it over and over and over and over.
Brian?
I have to say that the concept that in this organization, relationships are important. That's what being a brother is. And that's what I've carried with me most from a collective Delta Sigma experience, is that sense of relationship being important, and that translates over into what you do.
Mark?
Well, it has helped me in networking career-wise. I wouldn't say that that's what means the most to me. What means the most to me is I have an event to go to, such as this, and the people in this room standing up here. Good friends that I've known for several years and will continue to know for the rest of my life.
Joe?
You are about to be amazed at how many interesting, educational, wacky, funny, smart people you are going to meet in your career. And then when you join, when you join the alumni chapter, look at all of us fun, strange, funny people you get to interact with. And I think that's the biggest thing. We all learn things. Bill is exactly right. We got public speaking and crowd control with meetings with Van Muck and everything else. But your network is not going to be just a bunch of people. My big sister is a professor. Boy, she's my big sister all the time, even though I'm a lot taller than she is. And she said after I moved into the condo and had some of these folks here help me move, she said, you have a lot of useful friends. And they're smart, and I like that. It's fun.
Yes.
I was going to say, just from my aspect of what I learned at work, I was able to relate back to Delta Sigma as far as being a leader. And what I've been able to learn in this organization, I've been able to take into the workplace and make myself more effective with time management, with relating to others, and just being able to use this experience in ways I never thought I would.
Yeah, Katie?
I think that's a key part of the fraternity is an opportunity to take yourself outside of your comfort zone and take a risk and do something you might not otherwise do because you either don't know if you like it or you don't think you're good at it. And yet you get to take that risk in a very safe setting. Because let's be honest, if you fail, you failed with all your friends. So somebody will pick you up, somebody will help. It's a whole lot safer to try that comfort zone in a new way in this setting than it is if you try that on your first job. So take advantage and do things you wouldn't otherwise do. You might find you like it, or you'll find you hate it, which means, great, I'm never doing that for my career. And that's a really good lesson to learn.
Yes.
I know this probably depends a lot on the individual, but what have you guys found is the most important thing in finding a fulfilling career?
Like it.
Like, there's certain aspects of that
Well, a couple of us talked about your gut. We were talking about this, right, Mark? About if you start a job and you just, like, literally, I cried on the way home the first day of the job, and I'll update months later. So just because you took something doesn't mean you have to stay there forever. You know, you don't want to look like a job hopper, don't do it the next time, but some companies really reward risk-taking, so even like if you're in a big enough company, you can maybe move around pretty quickly too, it just kind of depends, but don't think that you're stuck with something forever and ever and ever, so I think trust me, and also be resilient. I told some of the people on the resume part, be resilient, adaptable, I've taken jobs where the guy was a crook, was a private company, was arrested by the feds, have your resume ready, just in case. Companies get sold, so, trust your gut and just pay attention to what's going on.
Mark?
Sure. The thing I'd say is, if you have the ability to network amongst your peers here, don't be afraid to reach out and find out if people know about a company that you're interviewing at. If you're about to go to work for a company, don't just research the company itself. Reach out to people who either worked there before or currently work there, or people who may have worked in that industry to see what they know.
Jeanette?
I would consider one simple question if you're considering a job offer from a company. Would you be willing to do it if they paid you $1 a year? If they would, that's where you should be. Because you will love it, you will be great at it, you will excel at it, and you will be rewarded for that. But if you can't answer that with a yes, that might not be the right fit.
Thank you for coming, and good luck on your job searches.